Pitch night means the world to us because we're coming back from a journey of R&D and commercialization. We see ourselves as a collaborator.
This is a culmination of our long years of research, translating into something very meaningful, and doing it in central New York just makes it extra special.
Syracuse, I want you to think about the buildings in your life, your home, your school, your hospital. You would not be surprised that we spend 90% of our time in buildings, and that the building exterior is the first line of defense for these places that we call shelter. So we have automated building exterior diagnostics because the current methods are slow, expensive, dangerous. They do not scale and are fragmented. You don't know why you're paying a high energy bill or where that pesky draft is coming from. And definitely you would not be able to do this for a portfolio of buildings. There is more than $100 million that are wasted annually in the United States on defective envelopes, and more than 75 million buildings were built before the year 1980, which means that they don't adhere to any envelope standards. And that is why we have been fascinated with building exteriors. I came to the United States 15 years ago to pursue a PhD in building technology from MIT, and I met my partner in crime, Selim, when I joined Syracuse University, and together we invited Norhan and John from MIT, and when I moved to Georgia Tech, the three institutions worked together with funding from the Department of Energy to develop this proprietary, awesome technology that I'm about to show you. We are using drones, but we are not a drone company. We are systematically scanning buildings through commoditized drones and collecting thermal and regular images. Then our speed is 10 times faster, 25 times less costly, and we're 50% more accurate than the traditional methods. Our software translates this data to 3D models with the defect root caused and mapped onto it. We tell you where missing insulation is and where water intrusion, God forbid, is. And that our advanced simulation translates this to CapEx planning and decision-making tools, making energy modeling the way to understand not just how to fix the issues, but how much it would cost you, and what is the return on your investment for your energy bill. And so we are considering this technology like giving your building an MRI and revolutionizing health monitoring for the built world. We are very happy with how we have been engaging with customers in all kinds of sectors, and we love working with customers, and also they love us. We have construction companies saying that we're giving them new levels of insight, with cities telling us that we're helping them with their cost maintenance goals, and with hospitals, with water intrusion, which is really our target markets. Hospitals are a 24/7 operation. They're also in a situation where inspection becomes a risk to patients, but water intrusion becomes a clinical threat. If you are in a place where you're supposed to heal, you can't be really exposed to allergens and, God forbid, mold. So this is why we're focusing with hospitals. We are a proud Syracuse, New York company. We're headquartered here, and we're serving 5 countries and more than 19 states. Since we launched in 2023, we are at 3x year-over-year growth in terms of revenue. Our target this year is 1.1 million. We've served more than 50 customers, and we are proud to say that we have unlocked more than $50 million of savings in terms of cost avoidance and energy reduction. And of course, we are serving New York State. We are anchored in Syracuse, where we have given talks all across, from Syracuse University and University at Buffalo all the way to Oswego. We also have worked with an underserved community in the Bronx. We have audited 8 of University at Buffalo's buildings, and we've also scanned our own home, the Inspire building, and collaborated with 2 genius New York companies. Our latest piloting customer is Upstate Medical University, and this is the largest employer in central New York. And that is why we're asking for support from Genius, because we want to extend our early traction to raise a seed round. We also want to continue hiring locally. We've hired Jeffrey Lyman as head of our operations, and we want to hire for product, and we want to amplify our impact with New York State customers. And in order to do so, Syracuse, we have a proposal that we want to make genius history with. We want to invest a portion of the funding that Genius would give us to scan all 13 major New York State children's hospitals at no cost. We want to start with Golisano right here in Syracuse, do the rest of upstate New York's children's hospitals, and then do the rest of New York City's metropolitan region. Because if we're spending 90% of our time in buildings, then we owe it to ourselves and especially our children for these buildings that are meant to heal them, to never harm them. Thank you so much. I would like to invite the Lamarr.AI team to join the stage. As they are coming up, we named the company Lamarr as a tribute to the actress Hedy Lamarr, who was very well known as a beautiful actress, but she was also an inventor. And she invented frequency hopping technology, which is the basis for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi encryption, but she was not known for it. So we dedicate the name of the company to all innovators who did not gain prominence for their inventions during their time, especially women like Hedy Lamarr.
Tarek, thank you for a great presentation, very energizing. So obviously you brought a cutting-edge technology into a new market, but the challenge with this market, as we've learned, is real estate owners, operators are very hesitant about spending money. What's your plan to address kind of the point of indecision? How do you get them to actually adopt this and spend money and scale to generate revenue for Lamarr?
Absolutely, thank you for this. When real estate owners are having challenges with what to spend money on, we have tailwinds of regulatory compliance that you have to adhere to, which means you have to do a building scan. And when we are faster, less costly, and more accurate, it's a no-brainer. And when we're working with an entire portfolio, we're helping you in managing CapEx planning. However, we are going to get faster to these customers when we're collaborating with engineering companies that would be helping us in working with multiple customers at the same time to bring that product faster and much more effectively.
Thank you, great presentation. If anybody can't see, they also have wonderful shoes. It's worth being able to see what's up there.
We bleed orange.
Yeah.
Thank you, one guy.
One thing you shared with us yesterday is this is based not on publicly available data, but you've actually spent a long amount of time to build a highly annotated data set. Can you talk a little more about what that creates for a data moat for you, but then also have you thought about other opportunities for additional revenue around that data?
Absolutely. Our data is a work of love over the past decade since we started the research at Syracuse University, and we have been basically labeling it in such a way that it becomes proprietary to us. It's an effort between computer science and architecture to have this data moat that no one else has, with more than 50,000 images that give the proprietary insights to building technology. And of course, the data is usable in multiple ways that include expansions to other markets, as well as the data itself as an asset that opens opportunities, and that is as much as I can say publicly. Thank you.
Hi again. So your team is primarily comprised of some brilliant researchers, academics. What is your plan to scale to the business acumen you're going to need to really scale the company in turn?
Absolutely. First of all, it is true that the founding team is researchers, academics, and have built this exciting technology. However, the leadership team includes Ben Rocky, MBA from MIT, Jeffrey Lyman, who's heading operations and an exited founder. So we do have in the leadership this kind of ability. As we are entering the seed stage, we are hiring a biz dev team that includes head of sales, SDR, and marketing, so that what we've built so far, which has been exciting and impactful, has the process to scale not just across New York State, but also nationally and globally. Thank you.
Wonderful to see you all again. Let's talk just about your competitor space.
Yes.
So if I'm on the fence, if I'm trying to make a decision, today, how this work is done. You showed some images, but can you talk a little bit more? You gave us some high-level statistics, but a little bit more in the weeds about the time cost comparison between using your technology, your solution, and not using it.
Absolutely, we have the data because we've done the research and we know from customer experiences. I'm going to tell you what our customers tell us. When they go to technology companies that claim in the same space, they tell us that they are cost prohibitive. So the most important thing is our tech stack is automated in such a way that we are affordable, which means that we have no hardware restrictions because we're using commoditized drones, a data set that enables us to be very powerful, but also a technology stack with a click of a button, you get the reports out. When you compare us to the traditional means, when we're talking about the time spent to be inspecting a building, for example, getting a report in 6 months to a year versus getting it in days, versus the CapEx deployment decisions you can make at a portfolio when the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So you have like 100 buildings and you're just listening to a whack-a-mole kind of situation. We are going to make you do the informed decision, and that, of course, also means that we're giving you a more comprehensive approach that is much more accurate when you compare it to the limitations of traditional and current technology approaches.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's time.
All right. Thank you so much.